By the way, thanks again for joining us today. I'm sure there's lots of cat videos you could have watched, but you joined us instead. Thanks. I mean it. Be very gentle on the like button and the subscribe. Fire alarm audio, what is it? And why do you need it? And how do you repair it? Well, fire alarm audio you would use on a system where you don't want horn strobes or bells. You need voice because perhaps the complex is huge and you need to give voice instructions to fire wardens. Further to that, you might want pre-recorded message in high hazard areas. Two-stage system, you can get extra channels for evacuation, alert, etc. I want to take a slightly different direction this time. I want to open up the hood and see how these things work, because they don't fix themselves, and I know if any help that I can be to fix them, that's great. I first was introduced into fire alarm audio way back in 1985. We used to manufacture them up at Edwards, and I've serviced them ever since, so that's about 36 years. I do know a lot about audio. I do know a lot about fire alarm audio. This is going to be one of a series of tapes that I'm going to put together. So if you're troubleshooting fire alarm audio, you're in the right channel, because I'm going to go quite deep into this subject. First of all, I'm going to start off by saying fire alarm audio can come in 20, 25 volt and 70 volt. Most of it's 70 nowadays. And some of the devices that you buy are universal. In other words, it used to be you had to specify, when you bought a speaker, you had to specify whether it's 25 or 70. Most speakers now are universal. Speakers are multi-tap. They come in 1/8, 1/4, 1/2, 1 watt, 2 watt, maybe up to 4 watts. When you're paging a huge floor, like when you're setting up a system and it's a huge floor, you will do what's called split paging. That's the one we did today, where one zone just won't do it. What I mean by that is one zone does the floor, but you split it up into an A and a B just because of the size of it. Makes it really hard for troubleshooting. The one we did today, we had no microphone. It was only fire alarm tones. And to troubleshoot it, just who do you think wanted to hear tones today? Nobody. Nobody. There's no notices. It's a fairly urgent repair. No notices. So we worked around it, but we had to get quite innovative, and you'll see. I'll run the tape right now. So stay tuned. All right. So we're called to fix audio. It's Class A audio. It's an open circuit. We believe it's in a suite, but to complicate it, it's also split paging. Split paging makes it very difficult because that means that for every zone, it's split into two. So for instance, ground floor can have an A and a B. So when you're looking for where it's broken,
yeah, I'm in the unit. You can go ahead.
Okay, so as I was saying, it's complicated by the fact that it's split paging, meaning that the zone it's effectively two zones in one, covering the same floor. So if you want to find the break, and it's broken but it's Class A, so it's feeding from both sides, you have to turn it into a Class B. In other words, dead-ended. To complicate it even further, there's no microphone on this system. And because there's no microphone, we can't just page. So we come up with this idea that we're just going to hardwire it into, this is all we got to work with, so we wired it into this spare AC transformer, and it does work. And I've got a little monitor here. I don't know if you can hear this. Okay, you hear that 60 cycle hum? That's not what he's looking for. It helps, but here's what he's looking for. I don't know if you can hear this. So to make it as effective as possible, I've got a little monitor in here so I can hear what's going on. And I put on two 10K resistors. And that's the purpose of that is just to bleed off that cap. So the audio level is just a little bit higher when I put those two 10K resistors on there. And I might even, he can hear it fine up there, but I got to be able to hear it here so that I know that I'm actually putting static out. Basically 20 volts AC. We still haven't found it. We've gone through all the suites except for two.
Okay, you're good.
All the suites except for two. And it's probably not in those suites because those are sandwiched. So if it worked at this.
Can I come back down then?
Yeah, did you get the laundry or not?
No, the laundry doesn't open. You try it again.
Yeah, or you can try my key.
Okay, I'll come down and get it.
So maybe it's with all the construction. It's might be out here somewhere. So just when you thought you knew everything about fire alarm, they throw you fire alarm audio. Now you're going to see fire alarm audio in a lot of buildings after a certain classification of buildings, and you're going to see them in high rises, residential and commercial. You see them a lot in Ontario. And fire alarm audio, the idea is that you use a speaker for voice and for alert and evacuation. So you generate tones. Speakers are an AC device. The amplifiers are AC, but the supervision is DC. So we've got a short clip here to show you about what we did today with this fire alarm audio job. We had a trouble. We're not any smarter than we were yesterday. I mean, we fixed it, but it definitely threw a challenge at us. I will say that much. Anyways, have a look at the clip. Have a look at the clip, and I'll try to do some explaining. We're going to have a number of clips because, I mean, audio covers quite a bit, all the different manufacturers, and then they've got digital audio, analog audio. You can have up to, I think Simplex allows, 6 channels, but you're only allowed 4 channels in this country. That's 6 channels of audio on one pair of wires. That's what you can do with digital audio. One pair of wires, 6 channels of audio. So theoretically, you could have a tornado alarm, a voice message, a pre-recorded message, an alert, and an evacuation all on the same pair of wires. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean that it's going to sound like AM radio at night or anything like that. What it means is that on one riser, you can put everything and then demultiplex, we call it demultiplex on the distribution on the floors. That's way far ahead of ourselves in terms of this clip, but we're going to show you what we did today. It threw a challenge at us. We did get to the bottom of it, but like I said, it wasn't that easy. It wasn't that much fun. You got to go into suites, and this one didn't have a microphone, so you couldn't talk. You had to tone it. So who wants to hear an evacuation tone? Nobody. Who had notices for evacuation tones? Nobody. So you see where it gets challenging. So, well, have a look. and let me know what you think. Right, so we did manage to clear it. With a combination of the tone generator, which is the toner, and the ohm meter, we got her clear.
Is Corey Metzger. So everybody who knows Corey Metzger, you need to text Corey right now and say,